Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video we are going to look at a couple of awesome knives from Civivi. Here, a folder from the outside designer Taylor Martin of Best Damn EDC. And here a fixed blade design from the in-house Civivi team. This is the Perfrico. So again, a fixed blade design. Looks to be, for me, at least a design that I don't actually have in my fixed blade collection, which is crazy. I don't currently have a dagger in my fixed blade collection, so this actually fills a little bit of a role for me. But first here, the Clingman folder. Now this is a knife I was able to look at SHOT Show 2025. And the nice thing about SHOT Show is, well, that's where they typically debut their new models for the year. Not all of them, but at least a good amount of them. And the Clingman they did have there. And I like this design quite a bit for a number of reasons. Now, as we get into this here, very standard in terms of what you typically get from Civivi. Your pouch, couple of stickers, informational pamphlet, and your cleaning cloth. But the knife here, again, the Clingman. Now, there are, like usual, a whole bunch of different colorways. This one I really like. Right away, you can see this burgundy G10 with the black blade, black clip, black hardware. This is such a good look, striking the balance. And to me, I would say a little bit more elegant, a little bit more gentleman style, which when you look at this blade here, the Clingman, just a really nice design. I like clip points in general, and this one does really speak to me. I like it quite a bit. I like the overall shape, the unsharpened swedge, the swooping belly, just a real clean look and fairly standard in terms of that blade shape. But to me, something that's sort of traditional and always functional. You cannot go wrong with a clip point. So this knife here, the Clingman model number C23065, and this is the -2 colorway, again with that burgundy G10, the black blade. This blade material, Nitro V, which I love, and Civivi always doing a great job with their edge. So again, you can see that nice refined edge there. And as you can tell, hollow ground. For me, a knife like this, hollow ground is definitely a nice way to go, either flat ground or hollow ground. But I believe, in my opinion, hollow ground would be just a little bit better for a smaller knife like this. Nice and thin at the edge, 3mm stock, which is basically 1/8 of an inch. So in other words, 0.12 going down that hollow grind to the back edge of that secondary bevel and just razor sharp. Sharpening choil, excellent thumb stud. So right away you can see just really dialed in terms of the action. Thing flies right open, very smooth, no problem there whatsoever. And if you're the front flipper type, you can definitely get away with that. Now, my finger geometry and sort of mechanics I just don't work that way. But you could certainly do it. So it has that little bit of a front flipper, which for some people are going to like that. For me, I will probably never, ever use that, but you certainly could. Now, one thing that I see right away that I also really like is the clip. So here you have the titanium clip. So the 6AL4V titanium clip. Again, that's going to be black to match everything. You can see plenty of clearance there, and these clips are very effective. And you'll see with that 2-screw design, you can actually flip it around for your left-handed carry. Of course, this is going to be tip up, which is the only way a folder should be carried in my opinion, but nice that it can be right hand or left hand dominant. So that's a great design. the Civivi sort of typical pivot screw there. So again, the Civivi logo. Typically you end up with your T8 hardware across the board. We'll check that real quick. Which, yes, it is for all screws across this entire knife. So that's cool, and Civivi's been doing a great job with that. Listening to customers and kind of minimizing the number of tools that you're going to need for your pocket knife maintenance, so that's definitely fantastic. As we go through the general specifications here, 7.01 inches overall length. Your overall thickness here, 0.62 inches at the widest point, including the clip. Closed length here, 4.02 inches. The blade length, 2.99 inches, and with a total knife weight of 2.8 ounces. They're doing a fantastic job for your weight to blade length ratio. Few things worth noting. If you can see on the inside there, nicely skeletonized and fairly heavily skeletonized inside that frame. You can see the frame fully milled out, hollowed out with those standoffs, some jimping over the top, perfectly placed thumb studs, and just a really nice design. Again, in my opinion, this is a little bit gentleman style. Definitely EDC, and so, you know, when you talk about best damn EDC, obviously having, you know, a lot of pocket time with different EDC gear, so having a knife that's slim and doesn't take up the entire pocket leaves room for your flashlight, leaves room for some of your other little gizmos and EDC items that you may choose to carry for your everyday needs. And so, absolutely, the Clingman going to do a nice job. But there's no doubt that for me, and if you've been watching my channel, I mean, granted, I literally carry a folding knife all day, every day. But I mean, I'm a fixed blade guy at heart. So as we take a look at the Perfrico, again, all the same typical stuff. Your stickers, your informational pamphlets, your cleaning cloth, but the knife. Coming with a minimalistic Kydex sheath with a clip branded Civivi. The knife itself, and with a very cool lanyard. Now, I've actually received knives with a very similar lanyard in the past. I do like this lanyard. I've used it on a couple of different bags and very effectively for oversized like zipper pull. And I do like this. So this has actually turned up on keys that I've, you know, used and different things. So if you don't want to use it on the knife, a very effective and very nicely made lanyard, which is definitely cool. But this Perfrico, now in an initial glimpse, obviously a dagger design, but as I rotate the knife here, you can see this is the sharpened side of the blade, and rotating this around unsharpened on the second side. So in other words, this is an unsharpened, and it's not a swedge. It is literally a fully flat ground section of the blade into that dagger shape, but it is not sharpened all the way to the edge. So you certainly could sharpen that, but you know, in many states, dual-sided blades are illegal, or maybe there's just a reason why you would not want that. For me, I do actually prefer the fact that it is only single-sided, and boy, is that sharp right out of the box. Now, a few things that I'm going to point out. First off, a number of different colorways. So in this particular case, this is the C23026 and then -2 colorway. So the green G10 handles going into the blade, which is a black stone-washed dagger design, 14C28N, which I love this steel. Hardness, 57 to 59 HRC, again, flat ground on both sides. But as you take a look, I love the handle. Not only do I like the handle and the way it was done, but more than anything else, I like the way they mated it up right to the tang. So obviously full tang construction there, but that's a fully crowned spine. The entire thing rounded out and just contoured the right way. So even though the scales themselves are short or shy of the edge of the tang, it works out very well where the tang itself is completely rounded and contoured and just fits nicely in the hand, and that's not going to be sharp or leave any edges. So rounded out in all the right ways. And as you take a look at how this index is in my hands, filling out wonderfully, and you can see as I get my thumb over the top for the stabbing tasks, that will index very well. So no fear of that knife slipping there. Now you will need to pay attention, obviously, to the direction of that cutting edge, making sure that as you present the knife, you are presenting it in the right way. I could see you easily indexing this the wrong way. It is a neutral handle. In both the sort of, thickness. So, thickness, it's neutral. In length, it's neutral. And on each side, it's neutral. It's exactly the same in all positions. So in other words, there's no real indication of which way you are grabbing it. So you're just going to have to pay attention. The sheath, this will work out for righties or lefties, where that's going to be fully ambidextrous. So that's not a problem, but you are definitely going to need to pay attention to the direction of the sharpness and which direction that's facing. Right now I have it actually the reverse. So you're going to need to be just a little bit careful and mindful with this particular design. But all in all, really cool. You can see a couple little design elements. So they've sort of machined that down and ground it just a bit to give that a bit of a ramp coming up onto that transition between the flat grinds. That's going to aid in deeper penetration. Well, I mean, how much is it really? But theoretically, and you can see, it's the same on both sides. Little bit of a fuller there, very minor, but at the same time, it is there and it aids in some function and definitely aesthetics. Civivi logo, that awesome checkering. Just a really nice design. Now the Kydex, definitely functional, nice rivets. Generally speaking, this lays out well. You should be able to rotate this clip a couple of different ways. It looks to me like you could certainly carry this scout style if you want, vertical on your belt. You could probably even cant this if you choose the right combination of eyelets there. So depending on what you're doing, a very flexible design. Simple, yet effective drainage hole, no problem, and a reasonable carry with actually great retention. I do not believe this knife has any chance of coming out of here, so even violently shaking this, which means you could carry it inverted, which I often do on the shoulder strap of a pack or something like that. So if you like this type of knife and you'd like to carry it in more of the outdoor application, you absolutely could. And I also like the fact that 14C28N is going to strike the balance between edge retention, overall toughness and durability, and a reasonably stain-resistant steel. So 14C28N, in my opinion, the perfect choice. And to wrap this up with the overall specifications, overall length of the knife, 9.31 inches. The blade length, 4.49 inches. Handle length, 4.82 inches, which will be, again, great for all size hands. I have a large size hand, and you can see that certainly indexes with no problem. So even larger hands, no problem. Smaller hands will be able to grip this nicely. Blade stock thickness. So the blade stock here is 3 millimeters. So that's basically 0.12, which is in essence about 1/8 of an inch. And a fairly light offering overall at 4.76 ounces. And so the Perfrico fixed blade and the Clingman folder. Couple of fantastic offerings from Civivi. Very much liking the Clingman. I love the overall design. Taylor Martin doing a great job with this design. It definitely resonates with me. I do typically like clip points, so that's going to work out very well. I love the overall shape and the fact that it has that titanium clip. Very snappy, very well tuned. Civivi always doing an amazing job with their folders, and the Clingman is no exception. And adding to their fixed blade lineup, the Perfrico. It's nice for me to have a dagger in my lineup, and man, this thing is just light and nimble. Throw this on, a backpack, throw it on a plate carrier. If you're somebody that likes that tactical application, this is going to be a fantastic offering, and especially with the well-formed and very well-retentioned sheath. So I would say, generally speaking, excellent performance from Civivi. And so with that, thank you so much to the people at Civivi who did provide these for review. If you like what you see here today, look in the description box below where you can find all of the relevant links for where you can find your own Civivi products. They are definitely awesome. I like these quite a bit. Nice offering. Civivi has been doing such a great job for such a long time, but I've said it a couple times in my recent videos. They've just absolutely stepped it up lately. These knives are no exception. So, all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.